this podcast is hard. I am just going to be completely truthful. I feel like all the things that I've said so far make sense, but they don't make sense. And I have been very tempted to just stop this recording and completely start over and maybe talk about a different subject. But I think that's what I've done in the past so much, and that's what I have fallen into a lot in the past, whether it was really recording a podcast or making a video or even just things in life in general, but is I give up so easily because it doesn't look the way that I thought it would. And that was the whole reason that I wanted to sit down and record this, is because I just want to sit down and simply press record. I want to sit down and simply be me and share my story and share my testimony and share what I am going through at this moment in my life and in this season of my life. My, YouTube channel is just talking about life lately with Landry, and it's kind of a fun play on words, but at the same time, it's really about being true to myself and sharing what's going on in hopes that my current story and my current testimony is an encouragement and an inspiration for others who may be struggling with similar things to me, or just helping them realize that your testimony is now. It's here, it's now. It's what you are going through, and to not give up on your dreams and your hopes that God has placed on your heart just when things get hard. To not give up just because it's not looking like you thought it would. You thought this piece and this piece of the puzzle were supposed to fit together, and then you take a step back and you're like, actually, they fit together, but when you look at the overall picture, those two pieces aren't actually supposed to be together. And so it's this journey of figuring it all out and putting it all together to get to that point. And I've listened to a lot of podcasts recently, and they were all kind of saying the same message of, I do think it's important that we share what we're going through in life kind of in that moment. Obviously there may be things that you want to keep to yourself, just between you and God, or at least with just you and your family. But I do believe that I think we wait until we get to the end and we get to the other side of that hope, or the other side of the hard thing, to go back and share with people, this is my story, this is what God's done for me, and He can do the same for you. While that is encouraging, while that is very uplifting, I think sometimes it's still hard to understand and really picture, how can God help me when they're on the other side of it and I'm still in the midst of it. And yes, it gives us hope because okay, there is going to be something greater on the other side. There is going to be something even bigger on the other side, and I'm going to get past this hard thing. I know we need those stories, but I think we also need the stories of, look, I'm in the midst of it, and this is hard, and I don't get it, and I'm not perfect at it. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't understand it, but I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep going on this journey and learning as I go, and embracing the steps as I go, and being in the present instead of worried about the performance of the end. And that is a huge thing for me that I've been learning, is just, how do I really step into the spot that I'm in right now instead of waiting until I have all the answers? Because I'm never going to get the answers if I don't try. I'm never going to get to the end if I don't take that step. I'm never going to finish this journey if I don't take a look at the map and figure some things out and try. Let's take a step this way. Or, if I feel being pulled in this direction, let's put some faith in God and let's really understand or come to understand what he's trying to tell me by going in that direction. Like, I don't know what God's going to do in my life. I don't even know if I'm going to keep making podcasts, but I do know that this is a step that I want to take. This is a part of the journey that I want to step into, and I don't know what's to come of it, but I'm going to do it. I don't know how many people are going to listen to this. I don't know how many people this is going to touch or encourage, or if it really even makes sense, but I am praying that this message, even with my messed up words, even with my jumbled thoughts and no real flow, I guess, I'm praying and hoping and having faith in God that he's going to use this message how he needs to use it. And even if it's not used in a way that I think it can be used, it's still used for his glory, and it's also a way for me to share my testimony, and it's also a way for me to grow. And no one may listen to this. There may not be any kind of interaction with this podcast or with this episode or just with this recording or whatever, but it is a step for me, and I'm going to step into it, and I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to be obedient, and I'm going to press record, and I'm going to keep going forward and learn from my mistakes and learn of, okay, well, I didn't have a script for this, but my thoughts were all over the place, so maybe I need to have somewhat of a script for my next podcast, and, learn from that, and then go to the next podcast and next recording and just, all right, let's try it this way. If it doesn't work out, well, let's switch a few things up and let's try it again next time. That is part of doing this puzzle. That is part of taking these pieces, is putting them together and trying them. You don't just grab two random pieces when you're doing a puzzle and put them together and they just fit. Like, you don't. You take several pieces that look similar, you look at the shape, you try to fit it in, you have a couple of pieces that look like they would fit, and you put it there, and they might fit a little bit, but then, like I said earlier, when you zoom out and you look at it, you're like, oh no, those definitely don't fit. Like, those two pieces do not go together. I was doing a puzzle a couple of weekends, well, not really a couple weekends ago, whenever it was, a few weekends ago, and I did the border first, and I got finished with the border, and I was like, something is completely off, because this side is so much longer than this side. So like, I'm missing pieces on this side. And so I went back through and kind of looked through all the pieces and tried to find some more. And what was interesting was I found a couple of border pieces that I had missed, but they didn't go on the side where it was shorter. They went on the side that was longer. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong, because this side is still longer than this side. And I just found a couple more pieces, but they're not going on the shorter side like I thought they were. And so what I'm saying here is, like, we're never going to figure it out, and we're never going to have the flow go the way that we think it's going to go, because it's not ours to control anyways. It's not ours to, it's not in our control to make the steps and figure out where we're supposed to go and the things that we're supposed to do and have all of the answers to have the puzzle completed within 30 minutes. It doesn't just happen like that. And so we may be looking at that puzzle and have the border of the puzzle go the way that it goes and get really confused because it doesn't look like we thought it would. And then we even find more pieces and it's still not going the way that we thought. But when we just give up, when we just, oh, well, I guess this puzzle is messed up, like they printed it wrong and made it all wrong, and so it's, it's not a good puzzle, so maybe I should just throw all the pieces back in the puzzle and look at returning it, or not ever trying it again because it's just a defective puzzle. But if we do that, then we're never stepping into the purpose that God designed for us. We're never stepping into the fullness of who He designed us to be. And we're never going to be able to grow when we do that. I think we get so stuck in that position of it and that moment of it, or just the mentality of it, or just the mindset of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Words are hard, but I think we're just getting stuck in it because one little thing happens, and when it doesn't turn out the way that we thought, instead of trying to fix those pieces and trying to, remove, put back in, switch things up, keep filing through all the pieces and really work it all out, we're never going to get to the end result. I don't know what your story is. I don't know what season you're in or what you're going through, but I just pray that this is encouraging to help you understand that your story isn't over. Your puzzle may not be finished, but your story isn't over. And for you to keep looking for the pieces, to not give up on the puzzle that God has given you in your life. And to not just easily quit or give up or think that this puzzle isn't for me, I'm supposed to have another puzzle, because I guarantee you the puzzle that you have is the puzzle that God designed for you, and it's exactly what you're supposed to be working on and working through. And giving up on it and quitting and stop and no longer looking for the pieces is not going to help you get to that point, if that makes any sense. But I'm really excited to step into this and to grow in this, and I'm thankful that I don't know what the outcome of this is, but I am excited to step into obedience and to show up and to just share the things that are on my heart and be honest and be real and be authentic. And I don't know what's in store for this, but I'm excited to step into it and to just show up, because God is responsible for the outcome. I'm just responsible for the obedience. And that's simply what I'm doing here, is to just be obedient and step into pressing record, to stepping into being more of myself and not having a script and not having everything so perfectly set up and designed and figured out, because I don't have it figured out. I don't have all the answers. And I'm just showing up. I'm just doing what God's asking me to do, or what I feel like He's putting on my heart, and learning from it. And there could be a way different picture that comes out of this than what I'm thinking will come out of this. My responsibility is just showing up and being obedient. God's going to be in charge of the outcome, and yeah, that's it. So thanks for coming and listening to me ramble, and hopefully these recordings get better as time goes, but that's part of the process, and that's part of who I am. I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to deny that, and I'm not going to, put that down and pretend to be someone else, because there's no freedom in it. There's no freedom in it. There's so much more freedom, so much more fun in being who God designed us to be, and I'm going to embrace that, and I encourage you to embrace that as well. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and until I see you next time, peace out.